Many people believe miracles are simply ancient myths that have been completely debunked by modern medical science. They assume the space for God to act miraculously has disappeared entirely from the modern worldview. But Catholic theology claims that objective, scientifically inexplicable miracles still occur today, and that verifiable medical records actually prove the supernatural intercession of the saints. Most Christians believe atheist or agnostic doctors can easily debunk Catholic miracles. The twist is that agnostic doctors are the ones testifying under oath that these supernatural healings are absolutely impossible. Today, we are looking at a miraculous event from the year 1555 involving Saint Didacus of Alcalá. We will explore how empirical science, rather than disproving our faith, has actually provided stunning validations of Catholic truth. We will seek to deeply understand the ancient Jewish roots of this practice, specifically looking at the Hebrew concept of the Tzaddik, meaning the righteous one, and how God consistently uses physical matter to transmit his spiritual grace. Do the saints in heaven actually have the power to intercede for physical healing on earth in a way that truly defies the laws of nature? Are Vatican canonization records reliable historical documents, or are they just religious propaganda? Can faith and empirical science truly coexist without contradicting each other in the modern era? The stakes are incredibly high. Imagine a simple magnifying glass. It has no light or heat of its own, but when it perfectly focuses the intense rays of the sun, it starts a fire on the earth. The Catholic Church brings in the secular scientists not to explain the sun, but to rigorously verify that the fire objectively started and could not have sparked legitimately any other way. We live under the dictatorship of relativism and strict scientific materialism, where modern society insists that only what can be measured in a lab is real and true. But if miracles do not happen, the resurrection of Christ is just a comforting metaphor. If the resurrection is merely a metaphor, our faith is completely dead. But if empirical science proves that saints are healing paralysis today, then the supernatural worldview is true, and we must conform our lives to it. If you're interested in deepening your faith, hit like and tell me where you're watching from. Consider subscribing to stay rooted in Catholic truth. Support our videos, team, and tools. Link in description or scan the QR code on screen. But where does this ancient teaching actually come from? We find the clear biblical precedent for this teaching established within the inspired pages of the Old Testament. In 2 Kings chapter 13, verse 21, a dead man is resurrected merely by touching the bones of the prophet Elisha. We see this exact dynamic continued in the New Covenant in Acts chapter 19 verses 11 and 12. Handkerchiefs and aprons that had merely touched Paul's skin were taken to the sick, and their diseases left them. The physical remains of the holy dead, which we definitively call relics, act as material conduits of grace. This is the exact fulfillment of the ancient Jewish understanding of the Tzaddik. In the Talmud, we see Caleb praying at the graves of the ancient patriarchs. He traveled specifically to the physical tomb, the kever, of a holy person to ask for their intercessory prayer. This ancient Jewish practice perfectly prefigured the Catholic pilgrimage to the tombs and sacred relics of the saints. Saint Jerome fiercely defended the veneration of relics against early skeptics in the 4th century, arguing that honoring the martyrs' bones honors God himself. Saint Augustine carefully documented contemporary miracles in his great work, The City of God, arguing passionately that physical miracles absolutely continue to happen in the Church and did not cease with the apostles. The Catechism of the Catholic Church in paragraph 956 reminds us that the saints do not cease to intercede with the Father for us. The early Christians celebrated the Eucharist over the tombs of the martyrs, fully expecting their intercession and carefully documenting miraculous healings through physical contact with their relics. So what does this mean practically for you today? This profound doctrine makes perfect sense because Christianity is fundamentally an incarnational religion. God did not just save us spiritually from afar. The Word actually became flesh and pitched his tent among us. Therefore, God continues to distribute his grace and healing power through physical matter and the physical bodies of the saints who were uniquely conformed to Jesus Christ. The saints have absolutely no power of their own. Miraculous healing simply restores the natural physical limits of our fragile human nature to their proper state of health. In the year 1555, a woman who had been completely paralyzed for many years was instantly healed when she was placed beside the exhumed, incorrupt body of Saint Didacus. They were forced to certify the cure as medically impossible, admitting on record that no natural pathology could ever explain her sudden and total reversal. Dr. Jacqueline Duffin, an agnostic hematologist, initially approached these stories with profound skepticism. She later analyzed over 1,400 Vatican medical dossiers spanning several centuries and confirmed the staggering empirical rigor of the doctors testifying. Many people naturally think the Vatican just rubber stamps supposed miracles for public relations. But actually, the medical board ruthlessly rejects the vast majority of claims using agnostic medical experts who have absolutely no stake in the ongoing canonization. The Catholic Church requires objective medical impossibility precisely to protect the truth of the gospel. Because the saints are perfectly united to Christ's resurrected life, their bodies serve as seeds of the resurrection, transmitting life and physical healing to the faithful. To dive deeper into these mysteries of the Catholic Church and grow in your spiritual life, check out our web app for daily Catholic resources. However, the empirical rigorousness of Vatican dossiers demonstrates that when God dramatically chooses to suspend biology, we must humbly accept the empirical data presented before us. The Messianic age continues through the whole Christ, which consists of the head and the body working together in perfect unity. Just as Jesus perfectly fulfilled the Messianic expectation of spiritual and physical restoration in his earthly ministry, he continues to do so through his canonized saints. When you ask for a saint's intercession, you are acknowledging that the Word truly became flesh, and that matter is not a barrier to God, but a vehicle for his grace. If you or someone you love is currently suffering, praying to the saints is an act of deep incarnational faith. Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking. You might confidently say that praying to dead saints is a form of necromancy and that Deuteronomy chapter 18 explicitly forbids consulting the dead in any form. But necromancy involves conjuring up the dead to gain secret knowledge apart from the specific will of God. Catholics do not ever conjure saints or summon spirits. We simply ask for their prayers, just as one naturally asks a Christian friend in the same room to pray for them. Because of Christ's glorious and triumphant resurrection, the saints are not dead. They are actually far more alive than we are. As Jesus clearly states in the Gospel reading, God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. To deny that the saints are alive implies that Christ's bloody victory over death was a tragic and absolute failure. A Jewish perspective might politely argue that veneration of physical remains directly violates the covenantal laws against ritual impurity. However, in the New Covenant, the entire dynamic of purity is completely reversed by the beautiful miracle of the Incarnation. When the woman with the hemorrhage reached out and touched Jesus, he did not become impure. Instead, she ultimately became pure. We must always remember that both Catholics and Jews share a profound defense of the inherent goodness of the physical body, the profound idea that a body can be holy and that physical matter can transmit the blessing of the Lord is a deeply Jewish concept that Catholics happily inherited from their elder brothers in the faith. So where does this leave us? The miracles of the saints are never independent magic tricks. They are the ongoing, visible proof that the Messianic kingdom is entirely present in the Catholic Church today. The bones of Elisha beautifully prefigured the relics of the saints, mediating physical healing. The ancient Jewish pilgrimage to the graves of the righteous perfectly prefigured our Catholic pilgrimage to majestic shrines around the world. We can fully trust the incredibly rigorous process of the Church, which relies heavily on modern medical science to strictly verify these highly miraculous events. If this theological breakdown helped you, please share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, and check out our web app for daily Catholic resources and soul search. The bones of the righteous are never truly buried when they rest in the living flesh of Christ.